It's been so long since you smiled. Tell me where you left an empty child. Oh, let's have our feast on those who least expected this. The time is now, I swear we won't regret it. Won't regret it. Yeah, we sleep here under stars in the shelter of the dark. Addicted, addicted. Yeah, when you find out who you are, I'll be watching from afar. Addicted, addicted to this. No, we won't tell a single soul. No, of every passing night we've sold. Oh, this is our time, our place, a new day is in bloom. Come and see what it's like to just accept it. Yeah, accept it. Yeah, we sleep there under stars in the shelter of the dark. Addicted, addicted. Yeah, when you find out who you are, I'll be watching from afar. We're addicted, addicted to this. Take me to the light. I got tunnel vision sight. I got higher than I like. Too pretentious to rectify. Looking back, I know you tried. No, but does it still possess your life? Let's go out and get electric one more time. Everything in the world could be as we left it.
All right, we'll see if that works. Apologies for the major technical issues there. Not sure as to why the microphone wasn't working, but welcome to the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series. The season finale is coming into Talladega for tonight. We're having some technical issues, as of course noted by that. So we'll get everything up and running momentarily. We'll get your points graphics up as well as the regular graphics on screen and your starting grid. Coming into tonight, it is going to be, realistically, by the looks of it, a 3-car race. Again, coming into tonight. So we'll see where everyone sorts out afterwards, as well as with the stages playing into effect for tonight, as it looks like we are currently now going to go to your starting grid, and we will bring up your points graphics here just after your starting grid. But coming into tonight, your starting grid will be as follows in the bottom left-hand corner. As always, it is going to be Lucas Cram and Benjamin Nelson starting off in the first and second place positions. Starting off in third is going to be Brendan Hoff. Apparently, we do not have any more data available for the starting grid. Now we do. Apologies for that. But fourth place will be Dustin Schwingle, starting to the outside of Brendan Hoff. Alex Bell will round out the top 5 with Sean Howell starting off in the 6th place position. Starting 7th is going to be Nick Olson. Stephen Gale will be in the 8th place position. 9th place is Clint Spillman, and rounding out the top 10 is the 1 of Michael Klein. Brett Murphy will be starting off in 11th with Mitchell Muma starting in 12th, the first of a few drivers to not set a qualifying time. Colby Wells is another one of the drivers that did not set a qualifying time. He'll start 13th. Strayer will start in 14th. 15th place is Robbie Lyons. Gavin Jones will start 16th, and 17th, keep this in mind, is Kyle Dager. So a 17-car field here for tonight. Again, apologies for the issues that we had right off the main start. Thought everything was working, and apparently we had a few audio issues as well. But luckily, everything seems to be working well and fine. Coming into tonight, these are your playoff standings. And, well, if it's under 20 drivers, it's realistically only the top 3 that have a chance. Alan Ballacchino is not racing tonight, unfortunately. So at this point, it is unofficially / unofficially the top 3: Lucas Cram, Benjamin Nelson, and Brendan Hoff. Cram and Nelson tied with 1,171 points. They are in a tiebreaker situation, so stay tuned after the interviews, possibly, to see where everybody is sorted out. Brendan Hoff is going to need an incredible race here this afternoon, so we'll see where he sorts out at the end of the stages as well as at the end of this race. We'll see if we can actually get the points graphic updated for you as well throughout the race, at least the top 3. No for sure promises, of course, but again, we'll see what we can do, at least in terms of who is going to be starting where, or finishing where rather, in the championship standings. And this is the final race of the season. It's a little bit overcast at the moment, but no harm, no foul, no rain in sight locally, and it should definitely stay that way. But coming into tonight, it's going to be a 3-car race for the championship here tonight. And that's going to be a key thing. Top 5 in the points also do get a payout as well at the completion of this event, so we'll see how everything sorts out. The flagman has the green flag in hand. It's going to be waiting quite a while before the pace car pulls in and before the field gets here, but waiting for the field to be let loose as it looks like as the clouds make their way over. Looks like the sun has decided to come right back out. And we'll see if these clouds do have any influence on this race here for tonight. The final race of the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series season comes to a start here at Talladega. Green flag flies for the last race of the season. Coming down the back straightaway, it is Brendan Hoff on the outside lane with absolutely no help directly behind him. He'll fall back at least to the 15 of Alex Bell. Unfortunately, the outside lane just not having a lot of momentum. Hoff is drastically and very quickly falling back, just like the 33 of Nelson did right off the main start. The 44 of Cram continues to lead here at Talladega Superspeedway. Unfortunately, incorrect button press there, so apologies for that as the field makes their way through the start-finish line and through turn 1. Brendan Hoff making the move through the middle lane, as unfortunately for Alex Bell, for a few times this season, he is unfortunately no stranger to being shuffled back on the outside lane, but he has recovered many, many times throughout the times he has been shuffled back, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him make his way back up through the field as this race continues on. Right now, Nick Olson in the 24 machine will be right on the back bumper of the 44 of Cram as we make our way now to lap number 3. And, well, as per usual, actually, as we double-check the halfway point of this race, or correct from the stage end, it is going to be the completion of lap 35. So the completion of lap 35, we'll get an interview with the stage winner if possible. If not, then we'll go to a quick commercial break, get everything reset, and back going again for the final portion of this race. In the meantime, though, Nick Olson moves up to the outside, so does Brandon Hoff, actually. He's going to leave the 33 out to dry on the inside lane. Here comes Clint Spillman on the inside as Bell gets into the outside wall. I think he barely scraped it, actually, and somehow he'll actually get a run on the outside. That was a close moment with the outside wall on the number 15 machine. He does hang on to it, and he does have help directly in front of him in the form of Stephen Gale in that number 52. Brendan Hoff aggressively controlling both lanes. He went up to block his teammate in the 44 to not let that outside lane get any momentum. He wants this for himself. He knows what he's dealing with coming into tonight. Again, we'll bring up the points graphic very quickly when we do get the chance and everything settles out, but a third line already forming. Lucas Cram and the 24 of Nick Olson, the 44 and 24 up on the very top lane. There goes the 15 of Alex Bell to the outside. Unfortunately, Alex Fox not able to make it tonight, as well as the same with Alan Bellacino. So those drivers will be shuffled back in the points by the end of this race. Look at that line as well, that middle line going diagonal. This is the most, not exactly unsorted that we've seen in the field, but this is definitely the most chaotic that we've seen, and now this has let Brendan Hoff get out ahead, at least for the moment, as Nelson will go to the outside lane, side by side with the 9 of Hoff. He's got help from behind with the 7 of Dustin Schwingle. Again, the top 10 drivers are still in the playoffs. Well, of course, they're still technically in the running for the championship, but of course, the drivers that have a realistic chance at running are Lucas Cram, who has fallen back all the way now to 13th place. Benjamin Nelson and Brendan Hoff. Hoff needs and wants all these points, but the thing is, while Cram is out in currently 13th, outside of the top 10, keep in mind, he's tied with Benjamin Nelson, so in a physical sense on the racetrack in terms of points, Benjamin Nelson is going to get the championship win, but of course this is only 6 laps in, so we can immediately disregard that, especially since we do have the stage end coming up at lap 35, another 29 laps at the start-finish line. Hopefully everyone is enjoying this race so far. Again, apologies for the issues that we have had so far. But hopefully we got those out early on, and we can bring you a really incredible race without any further issues in the meantime. Right now, Clint Spillman will make his way up to the outside lane. Here comes the 07 of Mitchell Muma lurking in the back, slowly making his way up through the field. 9 of Hoff goes up to the outside in front of Spillman. Spillman goes up to the third lane. Hoff does not go up to that third lane. And a very smart move to do so, considering that, well, they're falling all the way back. It's going to be the 88 getting freight trained almost. And he's got no help now, even not from Strayer, who moves in behind the 44 of Kram in that middle lane. Spillman just trying to find some type of an opening to get into the draft once again so he doesn't fall back. I think Gavin Jones was leaving that middle lane open. And the middle lane just sorts right back up directly in front. Brett Murphy and Lucas Strayer, the 11 and 41 respectively. 41 of Strayer's going to shuffle out Colby Wells very forcefully actually on the outside lane. Wells was going to move in behind the 44 of Cram, but that did not happen unfortunately. Luckily no contact was made as both drivers were battling for the same real estate. We're going to be having a pit stop as well before we end up at the completion of the stage at completion of lap 35, technically lap 36 at the start finish line. Could expect these drivers to pit around at lap 25 to 30, maybe even a bit sooner depending on who's really pushing the most, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Lucas Cram slowly but surely making his way back up through the field. He did fall back to 13th at the lowest. He's currently up in 9th. He has to beat out the 33 of Nelson. And Hoff has to beat out the 33 of, well, Hoff has to beat out the 33 and the 44. He's just going to have to try and get as far ahead as possible. He's doing that incredibly early on. With his situation, I don't blame him. 18 points back from a tied Nelson and Cram coming into tonight. Look at this. Everyone's on the outside lane. Everyone's on the inside lane. Everyone except the middle. So the 7 and 45 were Schwingle and Wells. They really have kind of no one to work with. Usually we see some pretty good side-by-side racing, but this is completely different from what we've seen the past 9 races that we've been through. Correction, the past 11 races that we have been through. Up to the outside goes the 7 of Dustin Schwingle. He's going to have help from the 07 behind him. The 07 gets shuffled out on the outside lane. That's the 15 of Alex Bell. Now directly behind the number 7 as we ride on board Dustin Schwingle's back bumper. Looking off the back of Nelson, we see that great timing actually for a great shove down the back straightaway. We look to the side and we see the 9 of Hoff, who will very quickly pull away as Nelson tries to squeeze the inside lane down, but unfortunately to no avail with that. The 45 of Wells moves up to the outside lane. Brendan Hoff as well will at least stay on the inside, lead to the inside lane as best as he can, but he's going to have Nick Olsen give him a huge shot contact as the 45 goes around in the middle of the field, and the first caution of the day as Wells goes spinning, and I think everybody managed to avoid. Sean Howell may have been inadvertently involved, but that is the first caution of the day. And what a spin that was down the front straightaway. I don't believe anybody else actually, I believe everyone else just barely managed to avoid the 45 of Colby Wells. We'll see here on this replay. 45 of Wells at front. 33 goes out to the outside, tries to get back in behind, and somehow, maybe a little bit of contact, the 33 or 38 of Howell, rather, does stop in the back. Brett Murphy maybe had gotten a piece of that. We'll ride on board with him at this very quick spin and bring out the first caution. just barely avoided. He got really lucky with that net code, did Brett Murphy. So that will bring out the first caution of the day here at Talladega Superspeedway. I don't believe pit road is open quite yet, so we're going to take a quick commercial break actually, and we'll be back live here once again before the green flag here on this restart. This is the Sim All Racing Group Superspeedway Series. You are watching the finale at Talladega 200. Don't go anywhere because you don't want to miss a single thing. We'll be right back at the green.
Coming up to the line, being chased, and it was Brayden Johnson. Unbelievable finish. It was 1/1000th of a second between them.
Green flag in the air. We are racing in the 2020 24 Hours of Daytona.
They go door to door for the feature race lead here on the last lap of the race. Side by side for the race lead in the final corner at Homestead. Down the back straightaway, 3 wide again for the race lead. This is unbelievable stuff here tonight.
Aloma is going to have to be very deep on the brakes, and he is very deep on the brakes. It's side by side through the corner. This is for the win.
It to be side by side. Davies low, Ottinger high. To the very inside is Garrett Lowe. 4 wide at the stripe.
For all his work here on this outside line, neck and neck. Who's going to back out? Does anyone back out?
Verstappen starts to squeeze on the inside, and now he'll try and straight line it. Goes under the apron. Drag race to the line. It's so close to call.
Welcome back live to the Talladega Superspeedway, the finale at Talladega 200 here for the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series. Pit stops have taken place. A few drivers in the back have gone to pit road, but your restart is as follows. Brendan Hoff, Benjamin Nelson, first and second. Third and fourth are Nick Olson and Lucas Cram. Fifth and sixth are Gavin Jones and Dustin Schwingle. It's going to be a incredibly intense restart here from what we've seen so far in the first half of this race. Not even the first half of this race, just the first portions of this race. I'm wondering how the next next 20 laps will actually be going. So the stand by at the start-finish line is 20 laps before the completion of the stage. Green flag flies for the second time here at Talladega. Great start by the inside lane. The outside lane completely almost in shambles. In a sense, up on the outside lane. That is Lucas Cram in the 44. Not having the best day so far as Nelson and Olsen go up to the outside lane down the back straightaway. Olsen decided to move back down to the inside. Nelson in the 33, that digital ally Chevy Camaro has absolutely no help on the outside. And, well, if he does, which is the form of the 41 of Lucas Strayer, is a very, very long ways back. Alex Bell going to be trying to get that pole from the 24, but will not be enough as Olsen decides to move out to the outside lane, this time at the start-finish line. Brendan Hoff with no help. He'll be falling a drastic distance back. As the 24 gets around, so does the 33. And just like that, Brendan Hoff second in line on the inside lane. Now this is a matter of being steady for sure. This is a matter of now just waiting everything out, trying to feel things out, trying to at least hold the car steady as well, because Brendan Hoff is really, quite literally, just shoving as much as he can the 24 of Olsen out front to try and get the maximum points possible for the stage completion. Lucas Cram now in the rear view mirror of the 9 of Brendan Hoff. And if that isn't something to worry about, then I'm not sure exactly what could be, but Brendan Hoff with a great season so far, at least the late portions of the season. He's been climbing in, he's been clawing his way up to the podium positions when it counted most, and now he's just hoping that the best happens for him. We did see, if we were on board the Dustin Schwingle, we do see that damage there on the right rear quarter panel of the 88 of Clint Spillman. Could be hurting the aero ever so slightly, so we'll see how everything goes by the end of tonight. Not even by the end of the tonight. I'm jumping ahead of myself here. It's more by the end of the stage. Again, if possible, we will be getting an interview with your stage winner. But until then, we'll have to wait and feel things out, because Nick Olsen could be stealing all of that within this race. So we'll see what happens in these next just under 20 laps. Closing into the 15 final laps of the stage, as well as Brendan Hoff moves up to the outside lane. Strayer just lurking in behind. But Brendan Hoff make his move back to the lead as we are 3 wide in the back. Clint Spillman and Dustin Schwingle trying to make the third lane work. It's not going to happen so early on, as Robbie Lyons will slip right by it through the middle lane, and he'll tuck right up behind that back bumper, the 5 of Gavin Jones, and right when I say that, he dives up to the outside lane, cutting it incredibly close, using the 5 as a little bit of a pull to get out in front of this outside lane. So Lyons will lead the outside lane. The question is, does anybody else want to join and make up that third lane? I guess the answer looks to be no as of right now. Olsen has made his way up to the middle lane. Unfortunately, he has fallen back ever so slightly. That will leave the outside lane open now for the 44 of Lucas Cram. That is, if he can push Brendan Hoff hard enough to get out ahead of the 24 of Olsen. The 33 of Nelson, however, has completely other ideas. Unfortunately, the outside lane not going to play out too well. Look at Brendan Hoff. He's cutting it very close. He just hangs onto it. He'll get split 3 wide as Olsen moves up to the third lane. And again, we are scrambled in the middle lanes as of right now, but throughout the trial, Brendan Hoff leads the middle lane. Cram gets through on the inside lane, and Olsen will fall back on the outside lane. And unfortunately, the outside lane is just not working in too early right now. It's being worked way too early is what I should be saying, as we are at 14 and a half laps to go down the back straightaway here before the stage completion. Cutting it incredibly close with defense was Brendan Hoff. We saw him very visibly hesitate, trying to figure out where to go, trying to figure out if he should or should not cut off the nose of the 44, and he decided to just say, well, you know what? I might as well go to the lane that's actually clear, which is the middle lane. Look at this again, Brendan Hoff trying to cut off the 44's momentum. It's going to be almost 3 wide as Cram had almost had both the 33 and the 15 in the middle. Luckily, everyone hangs on to it, but Brendan Hoff pulling out all the stops very early on. Is it too early is the question. These drivers do have one fast pair available if need be, but is it too early to be making moves like this? We'll have to wait and find out if it's worth it or if it's not. Right now, of course, physically, in terms of location, in terms of on-track location, things stand. That tiebreaker will go in favor of Lucas Cram, of course, with, at the moment, plus 10 points. So, in a sense, he unofficially has 1,181 points as of right now, but that's not going to be the case as Brendan Hoff shoots by on the outside lane. Nelson will push the back bumper of the 9 as they go through the trial once again. And right now, things have started to heat up quite a lot. In case they haven't already, I think everything just got turned up to about 11. Hoff trying to control both lanes on corner entry, moves down to the inside lane. Again, coming into this race, the 9 of Brendan Hoff, 18 points back. And what he so desperately needs right now, as everyone goes down the back straightaway, what Hoff desperately needs right now is both the 33 and 44 to get shuffled out of the top 10 before the completion of the stage, or even before the end of the race. We'll have to wait again and see where everything falls in. But Hoff is just hoping that the 44 and 33 get shuffled out of the top 10, or at least to the lower portions of the top 10, just somewhere not so close to him, especially directly either behind or beside him in this case for that number 9. Meanwhile, it's a whole separate battle going on with the 33 and 44, each of them trying to break their own, trying to break the tiebreak between them. At the moment, as they run, in a sense, 1-2, or in this case, second and third, it's going to be a 1-point difference between Nelson and Cram. And of course, when I say that, the timing and scoring updates the drivers' live positions again as we continue to go around Talladega. And we see just how close it can be. In fact, speaking of how close things can be, let's take a look at the gap at the start-finish line. This, of course, is updated, obviously, at the start-finish line, so we'll see there's a very visible difference between the 33 and 44, but we see the difference there. 0.057 seconds. We've seen 1,000th of a second. We've seen triple zeros come across the board. Right now, Brendan Hoff is trying to hold off the outside lane as Cram moves up to the outside. At the start-finish line, it will be 10 laps to go before we complete the stage. And And again, if the caution comes out between lap 32 and lap 35, not the completion of the stage, lap 36, we'll go with that, but if the caution comes out between lap 32 and lap 35, then that is the completion of the stage. So whenever the drivers cross the start-finish line for the caution, if depending on where the caution comes out at least, then we will show you the top 10 on who is where at the completion of the stage. I believe only once or twice this season, though, we have had the stage end come early. But most of the time, we have managed to get to the end of the stage under green flag conditions. Everyone has pit as well. That's from our assumptions. Unfortunately, we did have to lose the feed momentarily. Even Lucas Kram actually now, he's giving out the same thing that Brendan Hoff is. A little bit of a defense on corner exit of turn 4. And by little, well, in some cases, this could be quite a lot. Look at that, the start-finish line. I couldn't tell from the timing tower, but luckily we do have this available. 6 1/1000ths of a second was the gap at the start-finish line there. And that can help. That can help make or break your championship run as well. Right on board the 15 of Alex Bell as the field makes their way through turns 3 and 4 for the 27th time today. You see just on the edge of that shiny sunlight, that is the 9 of Brendan Hoff. He'll be pushed by the 33 of Benjamin Nelson. And with Alex Bell being just all over the back bumper, now he lets off. I was about to say, with Alex Bell being all over the back bumper of Lucas Kram, the outside lane pretty much has absolutely no chance. But here comes Nelson giving a huge shove. Same goes for the 9 of Hoff. Couldn't tell if the 44 of Kram had bobbled or not from this camera angle, of course, but they do manage to hang on to it. The 9 of Hoff does have a slight advantage on corner entry, but again, per Superspeedway, per the design of the Superspeedways, the inside lane is usually, most of the time, always the best lane to choose on corner entry or corner exit. But in this case, with the help from the 33 of Nelson, it's going to be Brendan Hoff again leading at the start-finish line. So as everyone continues to shuffle around, in fact, let's take a look directly behind these 4 playoff drivers to see Brett Murphy from out of nowhere. Last time we mentioned his name, he was actually back out at the end of the top 10. And from 11th to 4th, as of right now, the outside lane very drastically faltering as Alex Bell decided to make a peek out to the outside lane. We'll wait and see. Brett Murphy started 11th, appropriately enough, in the number 11. And as we change our focus to now the 24 of Nick Olsen, we saw him make a few battles, make a few moves up in the top 5. He's riding just behind them as well. So Olsen in line to try and get what he can for this race. As we await the completion of the stage, let's say we listen to the roar of the engines in the next 3 laps. And of course, depending on how much things pick up here as we close into the end of the stage. Through turns 3 and 4 go the 44 and 15 back out front ahead of the outside lane, being led by the 9 of Brendan Hoff and the 33 of Benjamin Nelson. Coming to the start-finish line, let's take a listen to the engines for just a few moments. goes 3 wide through turns 1 and 2 as we remain in this camera angle for a couple moments. Brendan Hoff having a huge defense on the middle lane as Lucas Cram moves back down to the inside. This is not the lane that the 33 of Nelson wants to be on. It's what Brendan Hoff wants that lane to be on, or wants the 33 to be on. Now he just possibly has to worry about the 44. But look at that, the 88 of Clint Spillman trying to push the 33 of Nelson, but to no avail. Both drivers slowly falling back as Lucas Cram gets out in front. We are 2 laps away from the final lap of the stage completion here at Talladega. Now what the 9 of Brendan Hoff wants and drastically needs is a huge shove from the 24 of Nick Olson. The 33 of Nelson has been shuffled outside of the top 10. Keep that in mind for right now as he makes his way line positioning now into the top 10. Nelson going to be trying to make a lane of his own possibly in the final few laps. But that's exactly what both Hoff and Cram wanted and needed. As the 33 of Nelson, he's going to be trying to make a run of his own on the outside, but this is going to shuffle him out for sure. Maybe does Strayer decide to move up and help? He does. Nelson on the tail end. At the moment, it's, of course, Lucas Cram with the tiebreaker. We'll see where Nelson falls in as he's trying to sidetrack Robbie Lyons on the outside. Cram leads down the back straightaway. Does Alex Bell move out to the outside to play spoiler? No, that is, of course, if Bell can even move to the outside. He wants to, I'm sure. He tries twice to move up. Nelson moves up to the Olsen moves up to the outside to abandon Brendan Hoff in the middle lane just like that. 22 laps later. Pretty much does not exist as we look from this camera angle here. Look at how many drivers are on the outside versus the middle versus the inside. This is going to be a very wild final lap here on the stage. Through turns 1 and 2, once again, Cram leads. He's got help, Brendan Hoff has help in the form of the 7 of Dustin Schwingle. The 24 is going to be helping out the 33 of Nelson as they go through the back straightaway. So far, so good. Olsen moves down to the inside, possibly trying to get a last chance effort. So far, though, it's Lucas Cram out front. Does Alex Bell play spoiler? He's clear on the outside if he wants it. Does he go for the move? He decides not to. He decides to sit behind the 44. And this is the completion of the stage. Coming to the start-finish line, your top 10 as they crash behind. Huge crash as Olsen goes around. That is it. That's the stage. And
like somebody was peeing up on your radio.
And that is it at the start-finish line. 10 points go to Lucas Cram. 9 points to Alex Bell. 8 points to Brendan Hoff. So see if we can get this updated right away, at least in over on the overlay. Possibly, we'll wait and see. But at the moment, it is Lucas Cram for sure with the stage win. And for sure, with the lead in the championship standings, Alex Bell second, third place, Brendan Hoff. So Brendan Hoff will be getting plus 8 points as the pace car makes its way through the field. And right when I say that, it decides to slow down. So here's we'll have to slow down. Benjamin Nelson will get 4 points, which means it is officially, hold on, let me double check calculations here really quickly. So right now the points as they should stand, this is unofficial, so correction, unofficially, is Lucas Cram with 1,181 points. Benjamin Nelson has 1,175 points. Brendan Hoff still quite a ways behind, 1,161 points. So this is going to be something to definitely keep an eye on coming into this final portion of the race. We'll see if we can get a word in here with the 44 of Lucas Cram. 3 drivers may have damage, but we'll definitely take a look at that replay coming to the start-finish line for the completion of that stage as we get the 44 here momentarily once he goes out of his pit box. Cram is the stage winner. We'll see who sorts themselves out where by the end of this. Anyone taking tires? By the looks of it, that is a firm yes on tires. And nope, it's fuel only by the looks of it. Cram first off, second off is Hoff, third off is Schwingle, fourth off is Murphy, Bell is fifth, sixth off is Benjamin Nelson, eighth off pit road is Clint Spillman. And what do you know, almost identical pit stop times for Lucas Cram and Brendan Hoff. We'll see if we can drag in the 44 of Lucas Cram. Lucas Cram, do you have a copy with us? Well, as we sort out our audio things, apparently we're having a lot of audio issues today all of a sudden, but you did manage to come home with the stage win so far, so unofficially / officially in terms of calculations, whatever you want to look at it, you are still currently in the lead, of course, by double checking here. Well, off the top of my head, I cannot do math apparently, but you are, of course, at 1,181 points. Nelson at 1,175 points. So far, you have the edge going into the second half of the race. But overall, what are your thoughts? Oh, hold on a second. Unfortunately, still having it's the fun day of having audio issues. We'll try this one more time. We do have him, so we'll see. If we can get him. Apparently we are not able to, so that's really strange apparently. So we'll see if we can get a word in with you at another caution time, but until then, at least thanks for your time for now, so we'll see if we can get you next time. So apologies for that greatly. Not sure why we're having audio issues all of a sudden with the with everything. Apparently right now nothing decides to be incredibly nice in terms of our audio sources for today, so we'll see if we can get everything sorted out here. Brendan Hoff going back into pit road, actually. For same with a few other drivers, actually. Brett Murphy, Alex Bell in the 15 is also in pit road. Benjamin Nelson is in pit road, and so is Clint Spillman. So was that maybe a practice pit stop coming in for the second portion of the race? We'll wait and see. Maybe just some extra fuel by the looks of it. Yes, that looks to be so. Murphy just barely edges out both Bell and Nelson. So again, apologies for the issues that we are having. Apparently, that could be the main reason as to why we're having audio issues. And we may have figured it out already. So we'll see if we can get a word in with Lucas Cram later on, if there is another caution, to get an interview with him about his stage win. But as of right now, we may have actually figured out the reason as to why our audio isn't being so nice today. In fact, if we switch it over to this, we'll see what we can do. But in the meantime, as we wait, let's double check everything here. Yeah, for some strange reason, we're not able to actually have our current audio or correct audio sources for interviews, so we'll see if we can get that sorted out before the end of this race. In fact, possibly coming into this second portion as well, but in the meantime, pace car has the lights out. Lucas Cram will be leading the field to the green flag, with Dustin Schwingle off in the second place position. We're not sure again as to why, unfortunately, with our incorrect audio sources, being given a false positive with one of them as well, unfortunately. So we'll see again if we can sort everything out in the meantime. Until then, we still have a race on our hands coming into this second half of the race. Lucas Cram leads the field, and he leads in the championship standings as of right now. We were of course able to relay everything to him, and we were able to hear him, but unfortunately it was not going through on the audio sources. So we'll see if we can get that again. But in the meantime, the second half of this race will be underway. The second half of the final race of the season is green here once again as we go back racing from Talladega. Of course, keep in mind this is not, of course, this of course is the final race of the regular season and the official championship season. But again, we do have an all-star race next week as Robbie Lyons from out absolutely nowhere is in second place. We just realized that. So Robbie Lyons shooting up to second place. We haven't seen him much at the front of the field, unfortunately, but when he is appeared from out of nowhere many times. Nick Olson and the 7 of Schwingle will be fighting back on the outside lane. Off of turn number 4 and a little bit of cloud cover just like we had at the start of this race, at the start-finish line. It's going to be the 44, maybe. No, it's actually going to be the 24 at the start-finish line by about half car length. Nick Olson will be leading the field here at Talladega. But for how long is the question? The 7 of Schwingle had to back off and cool his engine down. So this is going to help out the inside lane, preferably, of course, the 44, but also the 97 of Robbie Lyons. Benjamin Nelson, a little bit of an update on him. He is back in the 9th place position, just as a side note. So we'll see if we can also get, again, the point standings after the race before your interviews as well. Again, we'll have to wait and see and let everything sort itself out. The next week is, of course, the All-Star Open at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard / Mountain Standard Time. Well, most Mountain Standard. Well, not exactly most Mountain Standard. Depends on where you are from. But 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to keep it simple. 8 p.m. Eastern Time is the All-Star Open. Then the All-Star Race is exactly 1 hour later after that. But most likely we will be having it all combined into one broadcast. And as of now, of course, is separated just in case. But in the meantime, the 44 getting a huge shot from the 97, who's getting a huge shot from the 9 of Brandon Hoff. Hoff is eager to get back out front. And look at this, all on the inside lane here. It is a championship run of the 44 of Lucas Cram, the 97 of Lyons, and then we have championship, at least championship contender, I should say, Brandon Hoff. Then we have Brett Murphy, and then we have another championship contender, Benjamin Nelson. All these drivers are on the inside lane. So everyone on the preferred lane. No one making moves on the outside as of yet. Maybe no one wanting to make moves on the outside lane. It's an either-or situation, but Cram very, very comfortable out front with what he's got. And we'll see exactly if we can actually get audio here momentarily, but in the meantime, as we make our way through turns 3 and 4, it's still, I'm pretty sure Robbie Lyons is actually itching to see that 97, or sorry, Robbie Lyons is itching to see that, or to hear the call that the outside lane is clear, but that, of course, all depends really on, well, that depends on really just how the outside lane fares in these next few laps, because that 24 and 7, those drivers and anybody else on the outside lane is not giving that up anytime soon. To the outside is looks like to be the number 7 of Dustin Schwingle, actually the driver directly behind him. That's the one of number 5, who's looking to try and peek out to the outside down the back straightaway. No harm, no foul. Closing in very slowly but surely on the final 30 laps of this race. Lucas Cram unofficially / officially again in the lead with 1,181 points. Benjamin Nelson not too far behind. I'll double check that exact number on how many points behind that Benjamin Nelson is. 10 points, believe it or not. So it's almost as if Benjamin Nelson didn't even get any points. Or sorry, correction, didn't even get into the top 10 positions at the completion of the stage. It's still a 10-point difference between the two. And for Brandon Hoff, who's at 1,161 points. Well, it's a 24-point difference, as Robert Lyons may have blown up. Luckily, he is fine, at least for now. Not entirely sure what happened with the 97 of Lyons. We'll double check and see if he either got bumped or had to move out of the way. And it looks like, looking back, he did just get a slight tap from the 9 of Brendan Hoff. So we'll look back at that here momentarily. I'll see how soon we can get this replay up for you on your screen. Off turn 2, down the back straightaway. Here's the replay. That's just an off-center push. And you see the 9. We heard the audio, we heard the engine of Lyons who let off. We saw the 9 as well with relatively equal pace. I think what Hoff wanted to do was let Lyons back into position, but unfortunately that just wasn't going to be the case with risking everything. So back to your live pictures here, down the trial straightaway. Uh, 24 points behind, at least at the completion of the stage, is going to be Brandon Hoff. So Brandon Hoff is 24 points out from being the champion. Benjamin Nelson just needs to, I think Benjamin Nelson really, he could just maybe, he probably wouldn't even have to finish in first. But to solidify that, of course he would. Brandon Hoff just absolutely working everything in right now. And here comes Benjamin Nelson. So if I do recall correctly, I will be, of course, double-checking this, but it should be at least about 40 points for first place, and then minus 1 point behind. Meanwhile, the outside lane of Gale, Muma, and the 15 of Bell, they are all over the place, trying to hold it together on the outside lane. Momentum difference, unfortunately, a very big factor into them having to break up the outside lane, but luckily they do all manage to keep everything together, keep everything under control, and fall right back into now what is 2 lanes. So you're going to be listing out the, or at least over on this side, we're going to be listing out who has what points, just to make sure and see where everybody relatively should be. Oh, as the 88 of Clint Spillman spins in the background, he does hang on to it though. Sorry, he's loose in the background, from what I should be saying. And fortunately for the 88, it's just not going too well for him today. We'll see if we can get a replay here to see what exactly happened with Clint Spillman. Was he bumped? It looks to be just a complete miscommunication on who was where here. The 80 of Spillman goes to the middle. The 80, oh no, it was netcode. Never mind. Huge netcode. The 15 of Alex Bell getting the worst of that. That was all in front of the 45 of Colby Wells. Somehow, we've had only, I believe, 1 actual caution today. Correction, 2 cautions. 1 for a spin in the middle of the field involving, believe it or not, I believe Colby Wells actually. Wells gets a piece of this. No, he just hangs out in front, just hangs onto it in the grass as well. My, oh my, what a final few laps this may turn out to be. And throughout our time at looking at the replay, well, guess who is out front? It's the 33 of Nevermind. It's going to be the 44 of Lucas Cram. I was going to say it's the 33 of Benjamin Nelson. And right when I started to say that sentence, Cram moves out to the outside. I was going to say it was 3 wide. But unfortunately for Benjamin Nelson, he'll fall for Brandon Hoff, he'll fall back to what is now 7th place. 25 laps to go at the start-finish line, believe it or not. With everything going on now, we should be expecting pit stops in about 10 or so laps. Look at Brendan Hoff with, I was going to say with absolutely no help, but no, he does have help from the 5 of Gavin Jones and the 88 of Clint Spillman, who was just loose on the straightaway a second ago, just about a couple laps ago. I'm very surprised he was actually able to keep it up with this now group that is in the top 11. And just like that, Brendan Hoff is back in the fight. Well, we are going to go double wide here before we hit the pit stops. And at the moment, it is Lucas Cram leading here at Talladega Superspeedway, trying to hold off Benjamin Nelson for the win. It is a 10-point difference as of the completion of the stage between the 44 and the 33, who gets a little bit of a nudge from the 24. And Brett Murphy having some major connection issues. He'll be able to just pop back into existence, luckily. Here comes Brendan Hoff. Might be a bad time for a double wide, but if anything does happen, we will come straight back to your live picture with the replay. Don't go anywhere. We will be back momentarily. Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway, where we are coming to the 20 lap to go point of this race. It's still Lucas Cram out front. Benjamin Nelson, we'll go with this. Benjamin Nelson in third, Brendan Hoff side by side. I wasn't sure which name to say first, and well, unfortunately, my brain had no idea what to do, but there it is, 20 laps to go. And it's a close fight between your 3 championship runners. Brendan Hoff, again, still just hoping that both the 33 and 44 get shuffled out to the point where, well, it's going to be pretty much a dead heat between the two, but I'm not entirely sure. I believe no matter exactly what happens at this point, it's still going to be the top 3 even if, we'll go with this, even if the 33 and 44, both Nelson and Cram finish 16th and 17th in whichever order, well, I'm not sure exactly how the points go out, but if it's by 1 point per one position, well, I don't know, it might be close. Again, these drivers do have one faster pair available. Not everyone had to use it as of yet. As the leaders continue to make their way through, Brendan Hoff, I'm pretty sure, just not exactly being happy at the thought of pushing Benjamin Nelson to the lead, but, well, he has to, and it's going to be an even closer points battle between Nelson and Cram with that move to the lead. So at this point, we'll have to wait and find out exactly, pretty much by the end of the race, on who is going to be where. So we only know those points. We only know the current state of the points from the end of the stage earlier on in this race at the completion of lap number 35. And anything from then on, well, we have to wait for the official points to go out. Possibly by the end of interviews or before the start, we'll have to wait and see how everything goes in fares from then on. But as we wait, we see, well, a very close move from Lucas Cram. I was also going to say, we see Stephen Gale there, third car on the inside lane, made his way up through. Currently sits in 5th place in real time, is that number 52. Third car again on the inside lane, now up to 4th place, as Brendan Hoff unfortunately gets shuffled all the way to the back. From running in the top 3, we'll go with that, from running in the top 3 to now 12th. And now these final 17 laps, at least one more pit stop is expected. Will we get a green flag run to the finish, or will we get a shootout? And will we again have to use another green white checker? Keep in mind that the only time we've had to use, I believe at most we've only used at least one green white checker, maybe 2. But we've never had to use 3 green white checker finishes, 3 green white checker attempts. Will this be the race that breaks it, or will this just be another one of the races in that statistic in the season where we did not go to 3 green white checkers in the season? Michael Klein having a few issues with the apron, same with Mitchell Muma on trial exit. That apron just straight up grabs you as the 44 dives straight down very aggressively in front of the 33 of Nelson after getting pushed to the front by the 24 of Nick Olsen. That was a little bit too close for comfort, and I'm just sitting up here watching this. We'll have to wait and see a move being made on the outside, but it's not enough, unfortunately. The 9 of Brendan Hoff with help from Brett Murphy in the 11. Oh, contact in the back, the 15 and the 07. They save it coming off of turn number 4. Was another miscommunication from before. The 15 last had that type of contact by the looks of that with the 88, so wasn't the same thing as before, just another misjudgment. As we take a look at your replay here, coming off of turn number 4. Luckily, again, everyone does manage to hold it together. We'll take a look here through turns 3 and 4. Replay on your screen. The 15 just comes right down, unfortunately. It was netcode again, I think, actually. If we take a look from a higher angle, if we take a look from an angle from up top, from, say, we'll go with the chopper camera angle. Correction, we'll go with the blimp camera angle just because it's just that bit better. Taking a look again from the blimp camera angle. Take a look at the 15, moves down, and yep, netcode again. Oh my goodness, just the bad luck with the 15. So twice with netcode with the number 15, unfortunately. Both times he did not make contact with anybody specifically for sure, but the netcode says otherwise. Back with live pictures here. 14 laps to go, 13 at the start finish line next time by. Everybody is single file. At most, we are on lap 25 or 26 of most driver strategies. Robbie Lyons has been in his pit stall for almost 3 minutes now, unfortunately, so he is 3 laps down. Again, all 17 drivers still technically on track, still running. Now 16 are on the lead lap. Here comes everybody to pit road. Nelson stays out. Cram goes to pit road. We'll take a look from high above as drivers make their way into pit road. It's about half the field. We'll tell you who stayed out. Your top 6: Benjamin Nelson, Brendan Hoff, Gavin Jones, Mitchell Muma, Clint Spillman, and Sean Howell. They all stayed out. 7th through 16th have gone to pit road, and as we can see here, this is what it looks like. Does anybody overshoot? That looks to be a firm no on any overshots. Now, the question for this portion of the race is, do you decide to take tires or fuel? It looks like it's just going to be fuel for everybody. Taking a look at your top 6 drivers now, as they come off turn number 4 or through turns 3 and 4, they'll head to pit road this time by. Brendan Hoff desperately needs this to go his way. He goes to pit road. Nelson does go to pit road. I thought he was going to stay out one more lap. Careful on pit speed on entry. So far, looks to be just fine. Now we have to zoom out and look all the way back to the rest of the field, from 7th place being led by Lucas Cram. Should be somewhere at about the top right-hand side of your screen. We'll take away the timing tower. They're just going into turn 1. They're mere pixels on the screen. You may not be able to see them depending on what device you're using. That depends. We'll actually take another zoom out once again. As drivers make their way off pit road, it is Brendan Hoff that's first off pit road according to our timing sheets. In fact, we'll go with at the line, and we'll take a look at that. Brendan Hoff, first off, Clint Spillman, then Benjamin Nelson, then Mitchell Muma. Nelson got shuffled back by the looks of this. Nelson's actually not out of his pit box yet. Hang on a second. Nelson was in pit road for 25 straight seconds, and that's who we were focused on. Benjamin Nelson falls back to 16th under green flag pit stop conditions. And I'm not sure if he actually took tires or not. We're going to take a quick replay here, actually, for once to look at pit stop. He does take tires. Actually, we'll take a look here. Hold on. From a more specific camera angle. Never thought we'd use a replay look at a pit stop here, but here we are. Benjamin Nelson, smooth into his pit box. Okay, so far so good. Right side tires go up. Then they go back down. Hoff is already out on pit road. Nelson's left side tires goes up. So Nelson on a 4-tire strategy. Oh, and he stalled it. Did he stall it is the question. No, he had to take right side tires again. He must have had the crew accidentally change the right side tires again. So that really, really hurts Benjamin Nelson for this championship race. And this all but solidifies the fact that Lucas Cram could be getting the championship here. Again, a 10-point difference is what it was at the stage, and now here comes Brendan Hoff flying by on the outside with help from the 88 of Lucas Cram, coming to 10 laps to go. It's a 24-point difference between Hoff and Cram, and with Benjamin Nelson out of the picture, these two only have to worry about each other. 10 laps to go at the start-finish line. Again, I don't know if Brendan Hoff will be able to completely clinch the championship. Depending on how the points are sorted. I believe, again, it's by 1 position, 1 point per position. So in a sense, it would be, say, 43 points for first, 42 points for second, 41 points for third, something like that. So we're not entirely sure. We tried to calculate the original point standings, and it was a bit out there, a bit confusing. We'll go with that. So maybe we decided to, maybe we calculated something wrong, but we'll see. But right now, Hoff continues to lead. Cram with no issues in sight, really, aside from the driver directly in front of him. But right now, I'd say this is the commentator's curse in a sense. Nelson all on his lonesome with Michael Klein now. Again, this is kind of the commentator's curse that just happened. Remember when I said a few laps ago that what Hoff wanted to know, or what Hoff needed, was if Nelson and Cram finished 16th and 17th. I was just using that as an example, so we'll see if any bad luck does befall Cram, but in the meantime, he'll try and defend. So does Hoff. Alex Bell will be on the back bumper. Huge shot, almost loosening up for sure, at least the 9 of Brandon Hoff. 3 wide for the lead through turns 3 and 4. Here comes Stephen Gale, Mitchell Muma, the 24 of Olsen, the 11 of Murphy, the 43 of Kyle Dager from out of nowhere. Nelson goes up to the middle to block. Correction, Hoff. Not sure I'm saying Nelson now. Apologies for that. I'm pretty sure what Hoff wants to do is that, never mind. Now it's too late. He tried to move down to defend, but was way too late. The momentum difference was way too much. And now as we go off turn number 2, it's a drag race down the back straightaway. Advantage to Brendan Hoff as they go through turns 3 and 4. And right now this championship decider is incredibly close. At the moment we can assume that goes to Lucas Cram for the championship. We'll have to wait for the final points to figure out who is going to be where. Nelson wants to, I'm sure, bring Olsen to the lead, but that's what Hoff needs to do. Hoff or Cram, they need to get each other at least a different car between them. That's not happening at this point as it's a spin in the back for Brett Murphy. Into the infield wall he goes. No caution as it's far off the racing surface. Brett Murphy's race, in a sense, is pretty much done at this point. We might as well mention now we do have a severe storm outside over our local area, so if the stream does cut, then we will get the replay up for you for Brett Murphy's crash. But if the stream does cut, we will bring in the final laps in any way, shape, or form as we can. It's just a quick tag, unfortunately. Hard shot the outside by the 88 of Clint Spillman, just trying to get in line, and unfortunately that did not play out into anybody's favor. Keep in mind, again, we are on a backup generator if needed, so we'll see how this goes. It's a race against time, quite literally, so we'll see. Someone who exactly is out of time, I'd say at this point, is the 33 of Benjamin Nelson. He can, of course, still get regular points. He doesn't have to worry about the top 10 only getting points. We'll wait and see. But in the meantime, 5 laps remain here at Talladega. Cram decides to sit directly behind Hoff, and well, if I was Brendan Hoff, I'd be a little bit worried on seeing someone sit directly behind me instead of trying to make a pass on the outside. Of course, that's Cram not trying to put himself into a dangerous spot of his own, putting him at risk as well. Through turns 3 and 4, we are having some power failures, so keep in mind, again, we are on the backup generator. As Cram goes to the outside, Hawk tries to defend. He'll force to be moved down to the inside. Alex Bell now leading the outside lane with the 24, with the 07, with everybody, and right when I say that, they change their minds. Bell gets shuffled out. Olsen almost makes contact. Not sure why I'm still saying Nelson, apologies, but it's just everybody on the mind here coming into these final laps. We have Olsen leading the outside lane in the 24. Nick Olsen with the 07 of Mitchell Muma. The 45 of Colby Wells. We have the 43 of Kyle Dager up here as well, who had a few connection issues. He managed to hang on to everything. Everything play out in his favor. Will things play out in the favor of Brandon Hoff as we come to the final 3 laps? 3 wide behind them. Bell trying to sneak his way through the middle. Will he charge through and get into the inside of the 24? He will not. Hoff moves down to protect the 44. To block off the 44's momentum. But again, the thing that Brendan Hoff needs to do, or what Cram needs to do, they need to get a car in between each other. Nelson continues to run 13th. He just has to hope for something to happen in this next lap, really, in this case, before the white flag comes out. Because if the white flag comes out, then that's pretty much it. The race will be officially finished under green, no matter what happens. Cram moves to the outside. Olsen tries to peek through the middle. It's not going to happen. Dager gets turned almost behind them. He hangs on to it. So does Stephen Gale. Championship contenders on the inside lane. Lucas Cram, Brandon Hoff. Lucas Cram is unofficially / officially in some cases in the lead in the point standings at the completion of the stage by 10 points over Benjamin Nelson. 24 points over Brandon Hoff. Hoff directly behind in that number 9 machine. Looking to close the gap as much as possible. In terms of points, side drafting off turn number 4. This time by will it be official. We will go the original scheduled distance. White flag flies at the start-finish line as Hoff gets turned at the start-finish line. It's a huge crash. Cram is also involved. No caution. Now it's a matter of who gets to the line first. It's a huge crash. Everybody's involved, and it's Alex Bell to get through. Stephen Gale second. Third place, Kyle Dager as of right now. Kobe Wells gets by. Brandon Hoff is out. He has continuous engine damage. Cram makes it through. The race is gone on time. The race completed has only been thrown and triggered by the iRacing service due to the fact that Hoff had to take a tow. He was at the lead at the start-finish line at the time. That is why the checkered flag has been triggered. The race has not been finished as of yet. In terms of real time, it is going to be Alex Bell somehow sneaking his way through this wreck in the final lap. We'll see where championship standings fall, but it's Alex Bell winning at Talladega. Stephen Gale will be second. Third place, maybe Kyle Dager. Here comes Kobe Wells off turn number 4. Wells will get the third place finish. Dager finishes, we'll find out actually. No, Hoff to the outside. Sorry, Howell to the outside. Fourth place is going to be Howell. Fifth place, Kobe Wells. Schwingle 7th. Sixth place. Well, everything is pretty much getting continuously shoveled here, but that is it. Alex Bell with a wild, wild finish here to the season finale at Talladega in the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series. What a finish that was, and what a final lap that was. Lucas Cram has pretty much finished the race. Brendan Hoff has not. Benjamin Nelson has. Unfortunately, Brendan Hoff will not be able to finish the race, so unofficially, heavy emphasis on unofficially, it is Lucas Cram with the championship win. He finished in 7th. 10th place is Benjamin Nelson. 14th is Brandon Hoff. Again, unofficially, the winner is Lucas Cram, but we have that to go off of. We will get an interview with your top 3 and then your champion momentarily. But my, oh my, what a race it was. Congratulations to Alex Bell, who snuck his way through with no damage by the looks of this. Look at this. Actually, no, correction. A little bit of damage on the back bumper, but he made it through somehow. Your race winner is Alex Bell. Lucas Cram as well burns it down. Unofficially, he is the champion. We'll have to wait for points to be able to call that official, of course. That's just over on our preference, but my, oh my, what a race that was. And what a finish that was. Lucas Cram and maybe having a dual burnout here at the start-finish line. And there it is. Both your race winner on the left, championship winner on the right. And we'll get a replay here right now of that final lap. And what a final lap it was. We may try and rush this. We may try and rush the final portion of this broadcast. We'll hold off on rushing in case anything doesn't go wrong. But let's just take a look from the blimp camera angle here in slow motion to see what exactly had even happened here coming to the start-finish line. Replay up on your screen now at 1/4 speed. And, well, the only people that did make it through this are the 15. That's it. That's the only person who really didn't get any major contact out of this. As we take a look Bell is trying to push the 9. This is what's going on. Bell's trying to push the 9 of Hoff to the lead. Loosens up the 9 just ever so slightly, tries to move up to the outside. Hoff tries to move up to protect. I think the 15 tries to go low to get right behind him once again or get back to the inside. That didn't happen, unfortunately. 4 wide for a moment. The 15 does get some damage from that. Olsen gets turned around, and then it's just everybody cleaned out from pretty much here on out. Look at that. Everyone goes to the inside, and everyone does not make it through. Stephen Gale had also slipped his way through the middle somehow throughout that wreck to get his, I believe, first his podium of the season. What a time to get it in the final race as well. Oh my gosh. Pure Days of Thunder didn't even let go of the throttle up until that point. My, oh my, how daring ever is that move. What a race this was. The broadcast, of course, is not over. We're going to interview with your top 3 and then your championship finisher here in a few moments. But first, it is Alex Bell with your champion, or with your race win. I have everything all over the mind here today, with everything being how crazy it was. But Stephen Gale comes home second. Third place is Sean Howell. Fourth place, Colby Wells. Fifth place is Dustin Schwingle. And sixth place is Lucas Strayer. Seventh, Lucas Cram. Eighth place, Kyle Dager. Ninth place, Clint Spillman. 10th place is Benjamin Nelson. And what a race it was for both Cram and Nelson. At the moment, it's still those two. It's still pretty much the top 3 that we had before. So we'll take a look at the point standings after this. Mitchell Muma finishes in 11th. 12th place, Gavin Jones. 13th, Nick Olsen. Unfortunately for Brandon Hoff, getting engine damage, forced to take a tow. And unfortunately, that pretty much was his day done. He almost had it, unfortunately, but nothing. Unfortunately, that final lap did not go his way. Michael Klein also finishes 1 lap down, along with Brett Murphy. Robbie Lyons having some possible hardware issues, from what we can assume, or some issue of some sort. He finishes 18 laps down, unfortunately. But my, oh my, what a finale that was for this race. We're not done quite yet with this broadcast. We're getting an interview with your top 3 and your champion here after a little bit of a break. And we'll be right back again with your interviews of the top 3 and then your champion in that order. Stay tuned. This was the, we'll be back here with your post-race show with the finale at Talladega.
We got big-time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage. Looks like your car is toast. You'll need a tow back to pit lane. Press and hold your reset button and we'll come and get you.
Welcome back to the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series 2020 Grand National Season Playoffs. What a finale at Talladega we just witnessed. We went to the original scheduled distance, and not only that, but somehow, relatively the entire, I think, top 10 or so, or top 8 that was running at the time, got completely cleaned out, save for one driver, your race winner, Alex Bell. And my, oh my, oh my, what a final race this was. We're going to be starting off with your third, or the top 3 interviews from third to second to first, and then your championship winner, which officially, I believe at this point, is Lucas Cram. So we'll wrap up the music here, and we'll see if we can, if we are able to actually bring in the third place finisher, pending, of course, that our audio sources are actually properly working this time. So we'll see. If not, bear with us because it might be a while, but we'll see if we can actually get it here, get everything properly working. I'm hoping that we can. All right, Sean Howell, we do actually have our audio working this time. So, Sean Howell, congratulations on your third place finish. I'm saying that very early since I'm a bit all over the place right now with everything that just happened and with everything with this race. But my, oh my, what a race in general that this was. I believe only 2 cautions officially, one for an actual wreck, one for the stage end, and you somehow, with everything that happened, you somehow managed to find your way home in the third place position. Walk us through that.
Yeah, luckily when we got hit in that big wreck at the line, I guess I got hit in the quarter panel, I think, and luckily I didn't do too much damage, but it slowed me down. So I know me, Colby, and Dustin Schwingle were all pretty close in points, and we were battling for the 4th point as well as the championships battling for their spots. So it was a close battle between me, Colby, and Schwingle, and I was the first one to the line there, so I'm hoping the points will work out in my favor. I know Schwingle got some stage points, and I don't know if anyone led laps and whatnot. So I'm just hoping that'll work out. Luckily, I got going the right way and had some speed left in the car to catch back up and not lose too many spots there at that big wreck.
Yeah, that was just an absolutely incredible wreck. But throughout this race, I mean, it was pretty much it was very wild. It was, from what I could tell, something that we haven't seen really so far this season, where it was, in a sense, a little bit less organized, but at the same time, it kind of was in its own way. But the drivers were definitely not running 1-2 or running 2 lines more often, or not running 3 lines more often. Sometimes in the trial, it was just a huge scatter of cars. So walk us through pretty much pretty much probably what you were thinking at the time.
Well, usually I'm in the back just watching. My plan is to stay in the back most of the race, watch them sorted out and I'll try to make my moves near the end of the stage and the end of the race. But everyone's trying to get into that preferred line or whatever line has the momentum. One car gets slowed down, the whole line dies.
I believe we might have lost Sean Howell unless he just stopped talking. I think we did. Oh. I don't know if that's.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's us or not. Yeah, okay. So that is you. Okay. Well, before we go ahead and let you go, anyone that you like to give a shout out to for your third place finish? And there he goes. And unfortunately, yeah, his internet unfortunately just absolutely went out. So we'll see if we can get Howell back. Actually, do we have you?
There we go. Yeah,
there we go. Yeah, I think it's for everybody at this point. So we're going to wrap this up quickly just for both of our sakes. And, well, who would you like to give a shout out to for your third place finish?
Just shout out to the whole season, all the sponsors that came on board this year to make some races worth some money and just make it more interesting races. And just thanks to all of them for putting everything together this year.
I thank you for your time, and, well, congratulations on your third place finish in this race, and, well, we'll take a look and see where you sort out in the points after this.
Alrighty, have a good one.
So that is Sean Howell in the number 38, finishing in the third place position in this race. Next up, we do have the number 52 of Stephen Gale for the first time, and not exactly in the best way, but only time of the season, but you know, it's an interesting way to end the final race of the season. We'll go with that. Finishing second place, almost pulling a Days of Thunder, going full throttle up until the last second, and somehow you just managed to squeak by with a second place finish.
Oh, sorry. Somehow I did. After me and Kyle got hit, slowed me down, I just yeeted my way through the field. That wrecked. Wish Alex had more damage.
Makes perfect sense in some cases.
I just prayed at that point. I'm just happy to get any incidents that race, pretty much. Didn't get it once, which is a rare thing.
That's absolutely incredible, too, considering that, I mean, it was pretty much everybody just cycling through the field with this race. Just some people that we haven't really seen run up front or were lurking outside the top five or even in the top five, or just kind of just riding out the outside lane, just everywhere, all over the place. So, well, it was just an absolutely wild finale.
Oh, God, it was amazing. It was very clean. It was nerve-wracking because everyone's swerving up the track, including me. A1 taking it 3 wide. Yeah, I was scared. But it was fun in the end. A1 raced well and hard. Happy got second.
Before you let you go and relishing your second place finish for this race, who would you like to give a shout out to?
Everyone who participated in this race, it was fun. Hard racing all around. You guys for broadcasting. And then Lucas, congratulations on his championship and owner of the league, pretty much. Without him, none of this would be possible.
Well, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations on your second place finish. And we'll see you next time.
Have a good night, bud.
That's the 52 of Stephen Gale, finishing in the second place position, and a championship contender in the number 15, your race winner for this race. Keep in mind, points are updated. We'll get that momentarily, but we do have the 15 of Alex Bell on standby here in that number 15, and I don't know how you managed to avoid, in a sense, we'll go with this. I don't know how you managed to somehow, I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, just something. I don't even know how to describe it, but we'll go with this. You survived that lap. We'll go with that, and it was just wild. Just walk us through the race, and especially that final lap.
Yeah, worked most of the race with Lucas, trying to get him a stage win and get him to lead the most laps. Really wanted him to take home the title this week, so glad we were able to accomplish that. In terms of the last lap there, I had Nick pushing me real good, and I had Brandon, I was pushing him real good. And I knew once Brandon got clear, he was probably going to go to the bottom of the track, so I figured I could go high on him. And he pulled down to the bottom a little bit. I tried to go high, and Nick was pushing me at the same time there too. And the bumper hook in these Xfinity cars are crazy, and it unfortunately hooked him. But really thankful for Nick Olson, because when Brandon Houff came across and got my right rear when he was spinning, I should have been dead. but Nick was kind of there to cushion the impact, so it kept me straight and ended up just sending Nick to the inside of the track. So a little bit of luck. That's what plate racing is. It's just a little bit of luck.
A little bit of luck, and sometimes a lot of it, and sometimes even just hoping that nothing bad happens and hope you survive. I should know. I ran the Daytona 500, and that was just it was insane. Just super speedway racing in its own right is just insane, and only very slightly stressful in some cases.
Just a little bit,
Just a bit. But heading, of course, into this, well, pretty much with. Not even heading into. Actually, no, I completely forgot about this somehow. Yeah, next week, of course, is the All-Star, both the All-Star Open and the All-Star Race. So, what are your thoughts?
Well, man, to be honest with you, today kind of felt like an all-star race. It feels like the intensity was really racked up from the drop of the green flag. So it's going to be fun. I love racing with these group of guys. A lot of friends in here, and it's always fun racing with them. So it's going to be a good race.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be absolutely incredibly exciting as well if this is something to go off of. So before we go ahead and let you go celebrate your race win for this week, who would you like to give a shout out to for your race win?
Shout out to Polar Pierce for the great sponsorship. Follow him on Twitch at twitch.tv/PolarPierce. Shout out to SW Motorsports for bringing fast cars to the track, and shout out to Lucas for the championship win, man. He deserved every bit of it.
We're going to go ahead and let you go celebrate your race win. Congratulations on that. We hope to talk to you next week.
Thanks, boss. Have yourself a good night.
That is the 15 of Alex Bell. We are currently in the process of updating the points graphic as well, since the points have been out. But as we update the points graphic in the process, well, we are going to go ahead and multitask here in a sense, and we're going to go ahead and talk with your championship winner, the 44 of Lucas Cram, who I'm pretty sure may need a change of pants after getting involved in that final wreck in the trial. But my goodness, just what a race this was for you, and I'm pretty sure what a heart attack you had on that second to on that final lap. But you luckily managed to come home with the championship win.
Yeah, that was wild for sure. I mean, that entire race, I knew what to expect going into it with Brandon and Ben, especially Ben and I being tied every single point, no matter what counted. So luckily I was able to start off right by getting the pole. And just try to work my way through there. And I was trying so hard to get a lap lead, and for the first about 20 laps, I couldn't get a lap lead. And I was a little bit skeptical of how the rest of the race would have gone, but I was able to kind of work my way to the front. And a huge thank you to Alex Bell and Nick Olson and everybody up there. It was a ton of fun racing. We weren't completely team racing, but we were trying to work together to help all of us there. And it worked great, honestly, and it was a ton of fun, and it can be really scary, to have guys blocking you crazy, but it's really fun, and it's kind of the stuff we do in practice when we're just kind of messing around. 'Cause obviously, it doesn't matter, but it kind of happened in the race, so I tried to join in on it, but wasn't doing a very good job of it, so I tried to stop it, but it was just a fight every single lap, and it was kind of something I've really experienced before in a plate race, to be honest with you. So, but had to work for it. So that last lap, I knew when we got involved in that wreck, Ben had a major issue on his pit stop and lost the pack and everything. So I knew as long as I was still able to roll, I wasn't too worried about it, and luckily I was. So I thought for a little while there that I missed it, I might have had a chance to win, and then unfortunately Nick got turned down and nailed me. But yeah, otherwise just fantastic race, and it was definitely wild for sure.
Yeah, it was incredibly wild, and as we, of course, had finally managed to actually get our audio working, we didn't really get a chance to get your thoughts on heading into the second portion of the stage, so our second portion of the race. So go ahead and walk us through your thought process that was going into the second portion of the race.
Yeah, I knew the pit stops were everything really, but it's just not going to take tires. Going to just try to keep the lead as long as possible. Luckily, Alex, he kind of took me through on the restart there, so he paid a favor back by pushing me into the stage win there. So I really appreciated that from him, and worked great together. Just trying to keep my nose clean. Unfortunately, Nick got hooked there, but in hindsight of that, it also kind of hurt Ben. So just trying to keep my nose up front the entire race long. Like I said, just trying to lead the most laps because that's 3 bonus points, and just trying to do everything possible. But at the same time, not trying to get myself wrecked and put myself in a bad situation there. So it was just a dogfight, and kind of surprised that it went everything at the second part of the race went as well as it did. We didn't have a single caution. We were racing super hard, and nothing really came out of it. So into the last lap. So that was really fun to have all that. I definitely had a few heart attacks for sure, especially in those last 5 laps. But it was the most intense action you probably could have asked for without having a single wreck. So that was cool.
And of course, heading into the All-Star race for next week, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, really looking forward to that. I'm still trying to finalize the details and get this announced to everybody. But we're going to be running the old Nationwide car, the old Grand National car, I guess you could say, for next week at the old Daytona. So going to be awesome. We're also going to have throwback paint schemes. I already have mine whipped up and really looking forward to revealing that and also racing it. It should be a ton of fun. Something different, not as much on the line. Going to be racing for money, obviously, but it's going to be really fun to kind of be, able to dice around again and, not worry about anything on the line too much. So it's going to be wild for sure. Looking forward to that. And, yeah.
Before we go ahead and let you go celebrate your championship win and get ready for the All-Star race next week, who'd you like to give a shout out to for your, I guess in this case, a championship win for this season?
Yeah, absolutely. A huge shout out. Obviously, being league owners is really special to me. To be able to, compete against these guys that are really, really good, and I'm so thankful for them to be, in the league and wanting to compete with us, and having this season with an entry fee and everything. Kind of, it was skeptical for at the start. Not sure how many people would be willing to jump on board with it and roll with it, but. We had a lot of guys that really came in and were really pumped for the season, and then just really grateful to all of them. It was super fun season all year on, and the racing was fantastic. Couldn't ask much more, honestly. Huge shout out, of course, obviously to you for putting on the great broadcast every single week. I was looking forward again to next week as well, but huge shout out, of course, to Robbie for being co-owner of the league and helping with everything out there. And huge shout out to Grit Motorsports. Joined them back in May, and I've worked with them ever since, and it's been awesome. We actually won our Road to Pro race. Brandon was driving in second split, and I was spotting our crew chief, and he was able to get the win there at Texas, which was huge because he puts in a ton of work every single week on the setup. So it was really cool to have that as well. And of course, huge shout out to Alex and Nick there for helping me out, trying to get some points. And I believe that's it.
Well, we thank you for your time. Congratulations on your championship win for this season. And we'll have to talk to you again next week.
Thanks, man. You too.
So that is championship winner in the 44, Lucas Cram. And good news, we do have the final official points up for you just coming up momentarily once everything gets all sorted out in the next about 2 seconds. And there we go. So this is your points graphic coming into, or at least leaving, for this race. There it is officially by 8 points. It is Lucas Cram and Benjamin Nelson. Brennan Hoff 30 points back. And unfortunately, those extra 6 points just didn't help out in either any way, shape, or any way at all, really. Sean Howell, of course, we see. Colby Wells and Dustin Schwingle got all +1 position. Coming into, or at least leaving after tonight, Sean Howell and Colby Wells as well tied for the 4th place position. Interestingly enough, coming in, or leaving at least, this season. Dustin Schwingle just 2 points behind that, of almost probably even being past those two, both Howell and Wells in terms of points. And then we move down to Alex Bell in the 15. We've got +3 positions coming into tonight. Clint Spillman as well managed to gain game points to get himself into the 8th place position, appropriately enough, because of his car being the number 88. And unfortunately for both Alan Ballacino and Alex Fox, they did not show up tonight and were unable to for either one reason or another. Unfortunately, they both fall to the bottom of the table, where Ballacino falls 5 positions down to 9th place, unfortunately, and Alex Fox falls back 2 positions down into the 10th place position. But that makes it a nice, even, almost 100-point gap between the leader and pretty much between the entire top 10 in the point standings. So, as we, of course, have heard at the Old Daytona for next week, boy, oh boy, is that ever going to be something, because, well, we're going to be live at an earlier time at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then that's going to be for the All-Star Open. So that's going to be something to look out for next week as we head over to the 08 Daytona for one final time here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. And then after that, we're going to be on some break or another, possibly, for about a month or so. And we'll be back, hopefully, with a few more seasons to broadcast, or a few more leagues, and just something to bring some general entertainment to all of you. So we thank you all for tuning in tonight to the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series 2020 Grand National Season Playoffs. What an incredible season it was, and just an absolutely incredible racing, a wild racing as well. But I'm pretty sure with next week being an All-Star Open and All-Star Race, we're going to be seeing something a little bit even more wild, and really just in general, all for fun, of course. So we thank you all for tuning in tonight. We hope to see you all next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night from Talladega, and congratulations to Lucas Cram on the championship. Congratulations to Alex Bell. What a season this has been.